Hi everybody and welcome back to another Legends of Runeterra video and gameplay. Today I'm doing my second video of the Wheel of Wheels. This is where I put all of the regions onto a wheel randomizer, spin it twice, and then I am forced to build a deck around that region or regions. After that, I will put all the champions from the two regions that I have spun, and then I will pick two champions and I will build a deck in those regions with those champions. And the kind of main idea around this is that I am forced to build potential decks that may not even be very good, but could be a different way of playing the game and turn into a good deck. A lot of it has to do with just thinking outside of the box and coming up with new ideas that haven't been done before and trying to get cards to work in situations that they haven't ever been used. Alright, so without further ado, let's spin this and see what the first region is that we are going to get. And it looks like it's going to be Noxus as the first region here. And this is loud. Okay. We're not going to remove Noxus, we are going to leave it on there and potentially spin it again. And our second region is Piltover and Zaun. So we've got a Piltover, Zaun, and Noxus region. Now we don't have any new champions from those two regions, so this could be pretty interesting. Alright, so now I have all the champions on this wheel from Piltover, Zaun, and Noxus, and we're going to spin it again and see what we get here. Alright, so our first champion that we are going to work with is Teemo. And in my first video, I was forced to do a Teemo Maokai video, so it's kind of interesting to get Teemo again. And for the second champion, we are going to do Darius. Alright, Teemo and Darius. This could be an interesting combination, so let's see what we can come up with here. Alright, so here we are back in the deck creator, deck builder in Legends of Runeterra, and we've kind of constructed this deck around Teemo and Darius. And I suppose the main problem with these two champions being played together is that they work somewhat in the same capacity, where Teemo is trying to kind of get extra damage onto the Nexus with his mushrooms. Darius is trying to do it with his Overwhelm abilities and stacking a whole bunch of Overwhelm units into the deck. And they both can fit sort of into aggro style decks, and so I did kind of end up combining them into that style. So the direction that I decided to go was discard Jury Rig, kind of these damaging spell sort of options. So we've got Mystic Shock, Get Excited, Static Shock. We'll have all the mushrooms to use with Rummage and discard options as well. So we can use those either to put them into the enemy deck if we've got Teemo out, the mushrooms, or we can use them to discard and draw better cards and finish off the game with things like Mystic Shock, Get Excited, and Static Shock. We can just deal damage to the enemy Nexus. It's also good for attacking enemies and getting rid of pesky champions, and then we finish up the game with Darius. Darius is coming out on turn 6, and we should have Darius by that time between our card draw options and our discard, so we should have Darius by turn 6. We can get him out and then deal enough damage to the Nexus where we can level him up and potentially finish the game. So that's basically the game plan. Now, this isn't quite, I guess, refined all the way yet to where I want it to be, but in this state, it's okay. Yeah, I might end up adding some things like Decimate to get more kind of damage onto the enemy Nexus before we get Darius out, just so that we can guarantee a level up. And we just have to decide kind of which cards we want to cut from the deck and which ones aren't working so good. Alright, so Suit Up works really well with Teemo. I like including this in Teemo decks. It works well with the Flame Chompers as well, with Jury Rig potentially, and also with these elusive Poros we get from the Poro Cannon. Yeah, not a problem there. I really like Suit Up in this deck. It feels kind of bad if you draw it on turn 1 or 2. Yeah, and you definitely don't want to have it in your opening hand, so you should always be mulliganing that away. No point in keeping that. Yeah, and we're running one Progress Day just to fill up our hand, get some cheaper spells out potentially, and yeah, drawing Darius if we haven't got him yet. So I would say overall, if I were to rate this deck and its potential, it would be fairly low. The Darius just doesn't seem to really fit in with the Teemo concept. This deck could actually work potentially well with a Jinx, so I may end up just getting rid of Darius and putting in Jinx and a couple other cards and yeah, putting in maybe Decimate and just getting some extra damage options into the deck that we can use to capitalize on, especially in this slow meta where we are seeing a lot of Aurelion Souls and Trundles and late game mana ramp decks. It is really nice to have a lot of early game aggro that the enemy can't heal through, and that can come in the form of this sort of direct Nexus damage. They are able to heal through some of it, and so rally is really the way that you want to go. So there's potential to put in an apprehend into this deck and try to get some extra rallying effects going. But overall, I would say the potential of this deck is quite low. Yeah, still, nonetheless, it's pretty fun to make this and to try to get something to work, even if it, you know, doesn't seem like it's the most optimal kind of champion combination and region combination. I would also like to issue a challenge to all of you guys. If you had any ideas of how you would build this deck differently with Teemo and Darius using Piltover, Zaun, and Noxus, go ahead and send it over. What would you change? What would you do differently? What cards would you include? Which cards would you get rid of? Kind of brainstorming different ideas and deck concepts is also pretty fun and potentially shake up the meta a little bit. So anyway, that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed this gameplay, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks. Alright, we're going against a support deck. This is going to be a super early game kind of aggro deck, so we really want to be looking for static shocks, mystic shots, and our early game cards here. I even might just get rid of Teemo. Get Excited, I'm kind of on the verge of keeping our Get Excited just because I need to have something to get rid of the Lulu. Okay, and then we pull a Mystic or a Static Shock, so let's see if he's got Flower Child or Feather Tracker, and he does. Not much we can do about that. If he's got Lulu this next round, we can get Excited the Lulu. Or not the Lulu, the War Chefs. He's got Young Witch. That's 3-4 damage. I think I'm still okay to pass here. 4 damage is a little bit, but it's not granting it, so at least it's not a permanent buff here. Alright, I'm going to pass, and this is the reason why. I want him to get Lulu out here. So we're going to take Lulu out with our Get Excited. This is exactly what I wanted. He's got no way to protect her, and we've got Static Shock next round.
The fate of mortals and spirits falls to me.
So now we're just going to use Static Shock here before he gets value out of Shin.
I find them unworthy.
And I'm going to skip this block. And now we can play the Sump Dredger here. Alright, we got a second Sump Dredger. So if he puts down another card, we can pull them with the Flame Chompers.
In grace, beautifully played.
Alright, so he blocks the Flame Chompers anyway, which is kind of interesting. Alright. I wasn't going to attack with that one, but that's okay. So yeah, we get 8 damage down, which is nice. I would like to get some more damaging abilities here.
My shield is yours.
Honor dictates both our actions.
Alright, let's just put down our clump of lumps just as a chump blocker here, and also more discard.
My shield is yours.
Double barrier, so he's gonna get a pretty good block off here, or an attack off, and I'm not going to be able to block very easily. He is going pretty deep into his cards though.
I sense an imbalance.
He'll probably pull one of the Sump Dredgers, so I should be able to, well yeah, dissuade at least one of them from attacking here. And he's also not protecting his Shin, so we can deal quite a bit of damage to him. And yeah, I think we're just going to block like this. He's just dealing 3 damage to us. He's in Mystic Shot range if I ever get that, or Static Shock, so it's not too bad here. And I'm going to play my Chump-Wumps, see if he's got something like single combat, and he doesn't, so we're pretty good here. And now I think what I want to do is discard these 2 and try to get some damage here. Alright, so I didn't get it. That's kind of unfortunate. I think I'm going to try this one more time. Okay, we get Excited and Jury Rig, so that's okay. And then we've got Darius as well. So if I use Get Excited first, I can force out a barrier from Shin if I use it now. Whereas if I don't use it later, so I want to get his Stand United out of him, or like other cards if he's got him. So I think I'm going to do this now. Okay, so he doesn't have it. So let's see if he's got another Shin in hand and he just didn't use the Stand United. Okay, so he's got the Swift Wing Lancer here. This is honestly okay. I think we're going to use the Daring Poro and just get some value out of the Poro. If I use Teemo, there's a possibility. Actually, we're going to use the Teemo. Well, no, kind of put myself in a bad position now. Alright, we're just going to attack with the Daring Poro here. And use these other cards as blockers. And I'm kind of staying in 3 mana again, so I mean, if I stay at 3 mana, that kind of makes him nervous and may dissuade him from putting down his Lulu, because it puts him in Get Excited range. I think what I'm going to do here is just use my Progress Day as well. And we get pretty lucky here. We have 2 Mystic Shots, which is great. For 3 mana we can use.
So I go. I sense an imbalance.
You call this a fight? Hardly fair.
Protect and strike. My steel is yours.
Alright, we are going to take out Pix. Gonna block here. Let's see, he's 1 out of 4. He is in range of Stand United. We could take out the Shin as well. We've got a couple options here. I think avoiding as much damage is probably the way to go. And taking out his units while I'm at it. This will summon an elite. Alright, so I think we want to go like this, and we want to go like this. I want to get rid of both of his challenging units and force him to use a second barrier. Okay, so he's got... That's actually okay for us. We force this out of him, and he doesn't deal any more damage than what he was going to. Alright. So we're going to start with our Teemo here.
3, 4.
And we're going to put down our Darius.
The hand of Noxus.
And we've got 2 elusive here, so let's see if he's got something like Stand United.
I'll scout ahead.
We're going to pull his Shim.
Shield up.
See if he's got any combat tricks. We are going to put Teemo up to a 4/4. He's got 1 card in hand. Let's see if we get... He is in Stand United range, which would kind of suck, but can't do much about that. Gonna see here what we can do. He's down to 27 cards as well, and we've got a Darius' Decimate in hand. So unless he's got a way to kill our Darius, he's going to survive, and then we can possibly use Decimate next round. Like, it just all kind of depends. Alright.
For Noxus.
And we end up winning. Alright, so we get the win there with kind of an aggro Teemo deck, and we're able to out aggro the Lulu and Shin deck. So I'm pretty happy about that. It actually worked out okay. Yeah, kind of an interesting deck. I definitely kind of misplayed at points there, but ended up not mattering too much and got the win out of it. So definitely could have played that a little bit better. Yeah, this is only, I think, the 3rd time I've played this, so I could definitely learn a little bit better and make some improvements. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how it went. You got to see a lot of discard, got to fill up our board and kind of reduce the pressure of our enemy, so that was great.